Can you describe what mind control feels like? JD, it takes on different characteristics over time. In the beginning, you simply don't know that you are being influenced by it. Your brain doesn't distinguish the external signal from your natural brain signals. Later, you feel that something is wrong and it feels like you are disassociated. Over time, as the intensity is turned up, you almost go into shock that such pain and trauma can be induced into the brain, bypassing the normal sensory pathways. Just like turning a knob, full control of the human can be achieved or dissipated. When full control is achieved, it can best be described like a war in the mind. Your free will is trying to overcome the mind control signal. Imagine a road with deep ruts in it. You are driving 55 miles an hour. Your tires get caught in the ruts and the car begins to steer itself to follow the deep ruts. When the car hops out of the ruts, you get control, but quickly the front tires get trapped into the ruts again. But unlike a car, you can't just stop your mind. Even during sleep, it continues and must follow the ruts. Later I learned that these ruts are called brain resonance entrainments and has commonalities to hypnosis. What other kinds of psychological and neurological experiments were run on you? JD, I counted over 75 different experiments, from passing polygraphs and purposely failing polygraphs to memory recall experiments and trying to program me to kill various military leaders whom I didn't know. They used sentence repetition, subliminal dream programming, a strange kind of brain imprinting using conditioning of emotional states that could be invoked with flashing images of the people I was to kill, they told me. What else can you tell people about your horrific experience and about neurological weapons? JD, what was truly mind-blowing for me is that I was forced to begin thinking in words. Every thought that I had after a while would be perceived as internal audio. They went through a mapping process where they refined and tuned the phonemes of perceived speech. It was as if they forced my brain to learn a way to control a voice synthesizer. Can you imagine how maddening it is not to be able to think quickly and silently? What do you think the purpose was of that experiment? JD, at the time I was so confused as to why this was being done to me that I didn't know. But in hindsight it was obvious that it served dual purposes at least. It is the perfect interrogation tool, and by interjecting false sentences in the same voice as my new internal voice, the system would occasionally trick my mind into thinking that I thought it. They have been working on this technology and using it for over half a century. Again, in hindsight, I have seen this technology described in countless movies but didn't believe that it really existed at the time. How did they release you from the program? JD, I don't know if they fully did. They stopped the torture and violent imagery and repetitive sentence programming that were intensely painful, but not everything has stopped. Maybe I am to be triggered by a keyword to do their bidding. I just don't know if I am a failed project because I was too aware of what they were trying to do, or if I am now a programmed assassin. How could one know that technology to fully control a human as a remote control soldier has been perfected? I feel exactly how someone should feel who was tortured and now cope with post-traumatic stress syndrome with flashbacks to the extreme torture methods. It is difficult to know whether I should consider myself lucky that I survived, or if the horror of being betrayed by my government and living with the knowledge on what a massive scale this is done isn't a fate worse than death. There are no good guys to root for anymore.